What's up, friends? This is JB Jeremy, JBJeremy89 on Instagram. Want to first go ahead and bring up a few things. Going to do two videos today. Going to do one right now that you're obviously watching on UFC 252 and the predictions of what I think will be an amazing weekend for the UFC. The other video will be more of just sports talk. Planning for each of these to be no longer than 10 minutes. I understand you've got things to do, and if I'm taking too much of your time, then obviously I'm not doing my job. So really what I want to first say is that it was a great weekend last weekend for the UFC and Fight Night. I went 4-1 in my picks, which means when I've been doing these videos, I'm 10-4 overall. I feel pretty decent about that, but you know, you can always look to improve. If I get a perfect weekend, I'll do 55 push-ups in a video without even stopping. I'll just do them, make sure that they look perfect. You can honestly be the judge of it, but I feel that a perfect weekend is coming. Could it be this weekend? Well, the chances are going to be greatly increased because I'm going to do 6 fights rather than my usual 5. The hat I'm wearing today is for Texas A&M. Main reason I'm wearing it is this was a gift that my brother-in-law gave me about 5 years ago. I remember he actually said to my wife, hey, I'm in Texas in the airport. Does Jeremy want a hat from here? And I was like, yeah, Texas A&M. I like Texas A&M. I like their traditions. I know that it was a military school, which, you know, you have to have discipline to fight in the UFC. A lot of people wouldn't realize that Texas A&M was a military institution. I remember when I was in middle school and high school, it was a big deal that Army and Texas A&M were playing each other. And that's when I looked to understand that originally Texas A&M was a military school. Now it's grown tremendously. I mean, you look at the players who they've had go through there. Let's be quiet about one of them, but you get the idea that now it's a little bit more with football there. A great football program to watch. You know, if A&M is playing Texas, I will be fair. I would root for Texas, but you know, a hat is a hat, and I appreciate the gift. But I really want to first bring up that we are in Vegas again for UFC 252. Kunitskaya last weekend. I want to give her a prop. She did win her fight, a unanimous decision, a good win for her. I still think that her time will come to be a UFC main eventer, but this is the time we get it. She did win, I think it was like 30-27, 30-27, 30-26. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was a very convincing win for her. And Dariush, he had a KO in the first round. I want to give him a shout out in his fight, doing a great job there. So really what it comes down to this week is we have 6 fights. 6 fights that I want to go into. And I'm going to start right away with lightweight. This is a preliminary fight, but it's Jim Miller versus Pichel. Now, the reason I'm going to bring up Jim Miller, he already fought less than 2 months ago, so them giving him this fight was due to his submission. He did an armbar submission on a fight night in June, and it was beautiful. He is a submission expert, and he really has that wrestling stance when you watch him fight that you just love. And I think he could get another submission. I think he actually, if he gets another one, he may be like the greatest submission UFC fighter ever. So I'm going to go Miller, Jim Miller, with that fight. And the next thing that I want to go to is a little bit of bantamweight. There are 2 fights that I really want to first bring up. The first one is Dodson versus Dvalishvili. And if I said that wrong, I'm sorry. But, you know, longer reach and a takedown master is Dvalishvili. So this could be a fight where if he gets the guy, Dodson, on the ground, fight's over quick. Maybe not a knockout, but just that momentum that is in a fight. You can feel it sometimes when you're watching it. You see when someone is completely out of it. UFC is one of those sports where, you know, it might not be like, oh, he knocked them out, or, oh, she had total control. You can sense it by momentum. So they're going to be the fights on this weekend. They're going to do about 11 total fights. If you have an opportunity, just watch one. I know that it can get kind of bloody and gruesome. Just watch one and see what I'm talking about with that. Next, I want to go into another bantamweight fight, and this is going to be O'Malley versus Vera. That's Sean O'Malley versus Vera. Now, Sean O'Malley actually had a fight 2 months ago, a quick knockout, and that's maybe what it could be again. That's the way that this guy fights. He's never lost a fight yet. Dana White is already trying to hype him up. The fact that he is on this main event card, I think, speaks wonders for the gentleman. So we'll see where it goes from there. I'm excited to see that fight, and I really feel like Vera doesn't really have a chance in this one. Could be just my opinion in that bantamweight fight, but we will go from there. Now, I have another fight, featherweight. We have Burns versus Pineda. Now, Burns is a submission expert as well. We could look at this fight and say that if it gets on the ground and he gets an advantage, it's over. I don't know if that's going to happen, though, because Pineda is my guy. You can't top experience, and Pineda has plenty. He's been around the sport for quite some time. I'm going to go with an upset in the featherweight division. I don't know why I said an upset, but an upset is going to be in the featherweight division. Another fight that I am looking at that is going to be a heavyweight fight is Junior Dos Santos, and he is going ahead and facing Rosenstruik. Now, the reason I'm going with this is Dos Santos is a veteran of the octagon. And I really see this as maybe, like, even though he's the underdog, this could be his last chance to maybe have still a thought of going after the heavyweight title. I don't think it's going to happen today, and I definitely know that it's not going to happen on Saturday because the heavyweight title is up for grabs there. And that really brings us to the main event. So in the main event, we have Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. Heavyweight title fight. The last two fights that Stipe Miocic has had have been against Daniel Cormier. Now, we can go through these fights. In the first fight, because this is the third time that they have met, Daniel Cormier knocked him out cold in the first round. Big win for Daniel Cormier. So when it happened there, immediately Miocic, he starts working himself up. He's a great fight trainer. He gets into a groove that you can't coach always. So what happened was they fight again. This one was in 2019. Miocic goes in there in the first 2 or 3 rounds. He's feeling him out. Like, he was doing a great job feeling him out and actually had good control. If you watch the fight, in the 4th round of this fight, Miocic knocked him out. And it comes down to this. This is the 3rd and final time that they'll fight. This is something that has been agreed with by the UFC. And like I've called them before, they are associates. So this is probably part of the contract deal. I'm still going to go with Stipe Miocic. I feel that he is the stronger fighter. He is the more aggressive fighter. He's the better trained fighter. So we'll go with him. And we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead right now and pay for the fight because that one is one where I could get it, but I'm going to find out the result at another time and probably watch it on replay. But Miocic is someone who I see as a true champion of the sport and keeps his heavyweight title. So to go through them all, Jim Miller, I feel, will pick up a win in the preliminary fights of lightweight. Going further in bantamweight, Davashvili will get a win. Takedown master, we can't hold that to be too much, but I still feel it leads to a win. Then Sean O'Malley, also in bantamweight. He's the upstart. I really, really, really like the guy. Pineda is my upset in featherweight, as is Dos Santos if you really want to go with it in heavyweight, and Stipe Miocic goes ahead and keeps his heavyweight belt. So with that being said, I really want to make it known that these fights mean a lot. This is a great weekend for the sport of UFC, Until next time, which will be very shortly, this is JB Jeremy, JB Jeremy 89 on Instagram. Stay safe, everyone.